gonna get it right one day. Hey, remember how many times you used to do the messages for your voicemail? It goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly. Hey, mama, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rugged red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I'm going to warn you guys now. If you came here to laugh, if you came here to feel good about yourself, this is not going to be the episode. This is not going to be the episode if you're a first-time listener to think that you're going to get the best version of me, because this is not that episode. If you have soft ears and are very unfavorable or unliking to the words fuck, motherfucker, bitch, racist, bigot, and other words of the such, this is not your episode. Go ahead, tune in to 1 through 6 and learn who I really am, or just wait until next episode, because this episode is not the episode for you. But if you're really ready to dig down into the nastiness of this fucking country, this country that we're supposed to be so proud to stand for and take our hats off and salute the fucking flag that doesn't salute us back, please stay tuned. I'm Rob Benjamin. I'm gonna piss you the fuck off tonight. Joe, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you? Look, I'll say something. I think everybody in this country should be outraged that this nonsense continues to happen every single day without the strongest condemnation from all of our leaders in all areas, parties, and everybody should be outraged that this insanity keeps happening on a daily basis.
It's sickening. I'm so fed up, and they have made it a political fucking scheme to make it seem like this is, oh, we got to save. No, you don't have to save us. You have to do something. Stop trying to save us and fix the fucking problem. For all you guys that love fucking Trump and are like so pro Trump that he's so fucking pro America, this is his fucking America that he's not promoting to fix. This is the same America that he has yet to dishonor, discredit that whole police station. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, we're going to go ahead and start talking about, get right into the shit of the murder of Jacob Blake, an innocent black man who at the time when the police call was made in, he was the person attempting to break up a domestic situation. At the time when the police came, he let himself be known who he was, what his intent was, and that he was backing away. But no, what happened in Wisconsin? Neosha fucking Wisconsin. You've taught your officers to be scared of the black man. You've taught your officers to be scared of a black man that was there to help his community. And then you murdered him with 3 of his children in the car as he was leaving after you abused him, assaulted him, and tasered him. So where does the madness fucking stop, America? To everybody that feels that this is not a fucking problem, you are the fucking problem. And if you want to go ahead and neglect and go ahead and try and push it over to black on black crime, as you call it, or cops killing white people, it is not at this level, because guess what? I've watched 50 plus fucking videos of different situations where guess what? The crazy white lunatic got away or ran away or had 20 other fucking cops tackle him. Didn't murder him, but fucking either tackled him, ran away, tried to knock a knife away, tried to do whatever, but kill that person, that suspect. And once again, this brings me back to California just a couple weeks ago, where 3 young black men were arrested by the police department because they were being attacked and harassed by somebody, and the initial call was towards that person because those 3 black children were being harassed and tormented. So where's the real fucking problem? It leads me only to believe that it's truly a race thing. And it might not be, oh, you hate black people, but guess what? You're fucking scared. And I relate that to why? Because when I served, a lot of white guys that I served with that didn't have any kind of cultural background, everybody was a fucking towelhead. Everybody was something else other than what the fuck they were, a human being. Because of the color of their skin, what they look like, and their fucking religious preference. So fuck out of here if you don't believe in racism. Fuck out of here if you don't believe in stereotype. Let's get busy to this shit. Because this is uncalled for. So yes, we need to be arresting the officers that killed and murdered Breonna Taylor. Matter of fact, let me not just say the officers. Officer Brett Hankinson, Miles Cosgrove, and Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly. Arrest those 3 motherfuckers right now. If America wants to show change, arrest those motherfuckers right now. And also, don't have the person that decided to kill Jacob Blake in front of his 3 children. Which reminds you, the conservatives were so prone on talking about all the children that were murdered in Chicago, Atlanta, and everything else. But what about these 3 children that were almost murdered? 7 shots to the back that could have ricocheted. That officer wasn't thinking about that. Where's the conservative outpour for that, for those children? Those children that witnessed their father get paralyzed and his life change. Thank God he didn't die after 7 shots in the fucking back, direct impact. I'm hot, Joe. I'm hot. And I don't know what's going to take for this shit to change. I don't know what's going to take for people to change their fucking mindsets. But with this and then this bullshit fucking election, this country's going to go to fucking shit. This country is down a shithole and very, very fucking fast if we don't get this shit the fuck together.
You got a divided country, and this kind of stuff really seems to be one of those issues that certainly seems to incite even more divisiveness and even more hatred. So, and again, with an election looming, and you've got two sides who both think the other side's the enemy, you definitely got a real situation on your hands coming up here.
It is nasty. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. And literally, you have a shitty hand either way. And it's just like, hopefully this starts to change the mindset. But once again, we go through this every 4 years. Every 4 years, this election shit comes around, and then everybody wants change. And then even now, all this black propaganda that Republicans are putting out there. Stop pandering to our fucking culture. Democrats, stop pandering to our fucking culture. Pander to America. And if you're pandering to the black culture, that leads me to believe that there's a lot more power into the black culture than you guys want to let on. Everybody's pandering to the black person, but the black persons, we're too fucking woke in our own shit and not worried about other shit, which is a whole nother topic we'll deal with today. But it's gross. And it's more and more, I'm just like, hey, whatever this country decides to do, fuck it. I ride this roller coaster, but I'm taking care of mine first. And literally, that's where it's come to. A lot of times, it feels like, I knew it was bad for my parents to raise me as a black man or a black kid coming up with my shares of fucking tragedies, but like travesties and tragic moments. Like, but now this shit's different. Because we're in a digital age where cameras are everywhere, and it still doesn't matter, it seems like. For example, we just had there's a leaked clip of George Floyd. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and play that. And this clip, it's sickening because it's taking these little clips are starting to trickle, and it's starting to prove more and more how blatantly the public service members that are supposed to be taking care of the public just doesn't give a damn. So as we're looking at this is a video of George Floyd being resuscitated in an EMT vehicle. They have, I don't know what the apparatus is. I thought it was pretty medically wise, like cool as fuck that they have that kind of technology. So I'm not knocking the EMTs for what they're doing because it seems like they're trying to save his life, right? But if you look at this video, you'll see George Floyd's face.
Shit crazy.
His face is not the face of somebody
dead,
that just jumped out of the vehicle and they put their neck on him. His face is bruised, bloodied.
That man was dead.
His eye is swollen. His lips are swollen. His whole left of his side, it looks like he got beat the fuck up.
Bringing him back now.
And now, as Buddy, who recorded this leak footage, is commentating, he's dead.
Yeah.
When I reached out to a medical personnel about this piece of equipment, they said that's pretty much just with the way his body's moving and flowing, they're at a last minute hoping that that's going to resuscitate him. So this man was dead by the time the EMTs had there, which initially, and even still further in news stories, they're going ahead and saying, oh, he was dead. He was dead. He died at the hospital. George Floyd was dead in that fucking ambulance. So what the fuck is really going on? What are they really trying to hide? And it gets sickening. It gets so sickening because everybody just wants to act like, oh, you know, he was high on fentanyl. I don't give a fuck. Just because he was high or whatever does not mean that gives them the right to kill this man, to abuse that man. Because guess what? We showed the video before. He wasn't fighting him. He was resisting. And I see why, because these motherfuckers are the biggest gang, well, one of the biggest gangs outside of the United States military. that have, guess what, other gang members, weapons, and the law behind them. So when are we going to hold ourselves accountable as a country? And when are people going to stop making bullshit fucking excuses for the actions of disgusting police officers that don't know how to do their job, that don't take their fucking training seriously, and that think that they just have a bigger ego because they have a badge? That badge doesn't make you shit. And a lot of people don't realize if you weren't shit before that badge, you're really not going to be shit with that badge. So yes, if you were I say that again. If you were a piece of shit before that badge is not going to make you a humble public servant. That's just going to make you a piece of shit covered with a fucking badge. And obviously that's what's going on in America. There's too many pieces of shit in higher positions like this that are covered with a badge. So how do we stop it? We can turn the video off, Joe. I'm disgusted with this shit.
I tell you what, I mean, that is just awful to watch. I think if you're one of those people that were sort of on the fence about George Floyd and you're watching that video, I mean, if you have any shred of human decency, that's one of the most repulsive things I've ever watched in my life. And again, the idea, you started off, Rob, I don't know where that video came from with the Star Spangled Banner. That was one of the most chilling things I've ever seen in my life. The first time I watched that this morning, I had tears in my eyes. I mean, it's to see your people treated like animals, virtually, does that can't make anybody feel good. It shouldn't make any American feel good to see black people getting punched and slapped and thrown to the ground and shot with reckless abandon. Again, I mean, this is a lot like the Philando Castile thing too, where
very true.
Right in front of your kids, they don't even give a shit. Whatever. They don't see 3 black kids in the back of that car. They see 3 future criminals. Bang, bang, bang. And you're right. You know what? A ricochet certainly could have happened. I don't think anybody even had that thought anywhere near crossing their mind.
Exactly. And especially at the point blank range where he was at in the doorway. I've had soldiers doing live fire activity, shoot a military door and it ricochet in a vehicle. That shit's scary as fuck. So I can only imagine how traumatized these kids are. So this is something, and I'm glad. Well, I shouldn't say I'm glad because I saw it coming, but now, the police chief is, talking about, now reform has to happen. It should not wait until something bad happens to your department for you to make change. It's 2020. Why is Neosha, Wisconsin only set up with microphones?
Well, they've been fighting that for years. I read about that today. They've been 2017, I believe, is when the city council passed to incorporate body cameras for more transparency and accountability. And the police department and the union have been dragging their feet in implementing it. They complained about a right to privacy by the police officers, which, I mean,
you don't have privacy. You're a public servant.
Yeah, and exactly what is it you're trying to keep hidden or private in all this?
There should be nothing private with a police officer in any format, because you're a public servant. That's like being a public corporation on the market and be like, nope, we don't want to tell anybody our financial records. No, hold you fucking accountable. So that's bullshit. And what are you trying to hide? I know what you're trying to hide, because guess what? In the military and law enforcement aren't too fucking different from each other. So yeah, if you have something to hide and you want to talk about privacy, it's because you're trying to hide something and you don't want shit to go back, because I guarantee you all these people in the big, it's not about a lot of the new guys either. The guys up top are scared that their history is going to come out and they're going to be fucking done. But maybe that's what needs to happen. And this is where I say the difference between Trump and Biden, right? I'm not saying that I'm pro Biden, but I'm going to vote for him, yes, because of Trump. And I know some people are going to be so mad at this, but this is one of the reasons why. With Trump, I do not believe he will hold these police under his legislation he will not hold these police departments accountable.
Of course not.
With that Democratic ticket, unfortunately, it's with two people I don't necessarily agree with. They will be under an umbrella that will hold them accountable and will push them, you know what I mean, to actually want to make change. So guess what? If we have to kind of go with the lesser of the two evils for my sake, well, I shouldn't say we, because I don't expect anybody to agree with me or see the same views as I do. But for my sake, I go with Biden for that, because I don't trust Trump to take care of business in that aspect. Guess what, Trump? I don't need you to boost my economy. I know how the economy can get boosted. I don't need you to be playing these little fucking fuck games so hey, big corporations can get bailed out and everybody can keep their fucking money. Let's play this game. Let's talk this game. Because guess what? You're talking to an educated Negro now. Oh, I'm educated about the economy now. Just a little bit. So if we educate ourselves, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, I just speak to the black community because I know in the black community, we don't know shit. And guess what? The people that know shit in the black community, they either want to sell it high, this education that they fucking got or had the opportunity to get from somebody or whatever the case may be, or never go and pass it along because it's a crab in a barrel mentality. So stop pandering to the black community because you know that's because we're ignorant enough to not do our own research and just read a headline and just go with whatever. So everybody that says, oh, you're voting just because, you don't like Trump. There's one reason why, and we can keep going, but this has to change. And I truly believe under his regime, it will not change because we've been going through this for more than 4+ years and they're good people. Everybody on both sides are good people. We need to Hell, he's still making light of a fucking sexual pedophile locked up. Oh, I hope she's okay. Hey, I would rather, like I tell people all the time, I would rather deal with a racist that's in front of my face than a racist that I know is racist, but is going to act differently and act differently to my face. Be upfront with me. At least I know Biden's history. I know that Biden's taking accountability for his shit. I know that Kamala Harris is what her history has done, and she's upfront with it. He's not. Trumpito can't say shit. He has no accountability. So I don't give a fuck what millions of dollars and what kind of shit you're boosting. Guess what? We can do that ourselves. We don't need his mindset to do that. If America actually starts taking care of their own shit, you'll see that we don't really even need a lot of these politicians. We're paying all these politicians for what? But that's a whole nother fucking story. America, get your shit together because guess what? Eventually, civil war is going to fucking come. And honestly, I was starting to get kind of tired and sick of Portland fucking rioting and shit like that. But turn that shit up, Portland. Turn it up. Because obviously, all this stuff is falling on deaf ears. I'm good. And fuck 12. I said it. Fuck 12.
Look, you're right to be angry. I don't know why there are not more people that are pissed off right now and asking questions and we've been it feels like since we started this show 7 episodes ago, it's like the same shit every week. And it's got to be frustrating for a lot of us. It's got to be frustrating for black people in this country that for some reason, despite the fact that there's these riots and protests all over the country, that there's still these asshole cops that are still going out there like business as usual. I for the life of me, I don't understand it.
They don't care. They honestly don't care. They feel like they have a safety net now. Under all this Blue Lives Matter shit. Blue lives is a choice. I was born this way. I had no choice in fucking being black in America and all that other shit. So no, it's not a blessing. I can't remember what her name is, and I'm going to remember what she said, but it's a blessing to be born in America because, oh my God, what is, I think it was Nikki Haley, I think. But anyways, it's not a fucking blessing to being black in America, I'll tell you that. So now that I've gotten that off my chest, And I hope other people have realized and starting to see what we're talking about and what we keep fighting for. Like, if you don't see it by now, like, I don't think you'll ever see it. Honestly, I don't think you'll ever see it. Oh, excuse me. So, with that being said, how was your week, Joe? How was your week?
My week was decent. I don't have no real complaints. I certainly, well, actually, let me tell you a funny story. May I?
Of course. Let's lighten the mood.
We should. I went and saw my mom the other night.
Okay.
I love my mom. My mom used to be one of those people I ever met. My mom taught me when I was a kid that racism was wrong. My mother told me a story once about her father, who she adored more than anything else. My mom was super cool. She was very pretty. You're talking like late 60s here. And she was living in Jersey and on the corner hanging out with, I remember one of the guys' name was Luther, because she used to talk about this fellow all the time. 2 black dudes. Okay. And her father pulled up and was like, Linda, get in the car and let's get out of here. And he had, I believe, used the N-word. Okay. Didn't want his daughter out in the corner with a couple of black guys. And my mother told me that was the worst thing that her father ever said to her, and she was very disappointed that he felt that way. And so you and I have talked about this. I always grew up, I mean, you know, we've always... we're Italian and Portuguese. We always get along well with everybody, and then that's always been the. But now my mom suddenly is a Trump supporter, and we had a long conversation the other night, mostly where I screamed in her face. And the number one thing I tried to explain to her was read shit for yourself. Yes. Okay. She accused me of watching CNN, which I have not done literally since Jim Comey was the FBI director. So fuck off. Number 2, stop listening to what fucking Ben Shapiro tells you people are saying. You've got the fucking internet. Turn on the internet and fucking watch Alexandria Cortez-Kennedy, or whatever the hell her fucking name is, or Pelosi, or pick one of these people. You know, here's what I find, and this frustrates the shit out of me, is I feel like I'm constantly talking to people. We're talking about BLM, and they're like, well, it's a Marxist group, and it was founded blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, do you know, what do you know about BLM? You know all the counterpoints to BLM. Do you know what the hell they stand for? Do you know what they do? Do you know what AOC stands for? Do you even know what the fucking Green New Deal is? Do you have any idea what they're looking to do for this country? Do you think they want to turn it into Venezuela? You think that's what they're running on? The Democrats are like, yeah, let's burn this shit down. I'm at a point where, like, I see people like Ben Shapiro, and I think Ben Shapiro is one of the biggest fucking douchebags in this whole country. And he is a professional provocateur. You got Milo Yavarova, whatever the hell his name is. Richard Spencer, who is the Nazi that gets punched, and then, why do people want to punch me? Well, because you're a douchebag fucking Nazi, so you get punched in your face. These people will tell you what other people are saying, and, you know, look, Ben Shapiro's a good-looking fucking, I'm a white guy, and, it's a real bum deal for us. And you know what? Listen, if you buy that shit, it's because in your heart, you have some hatred for people, and you're looking for someone to fucking reaffirm that shit for you. My mother said to me, she's like, you were a Republican for a long time. Let me tell you something. I'm still a Republican. I'm getting like fucking 8 or 9 emails a day from Trump begging for money because he knows he's fucked, because he's looked at the numbers with independents, and 64% think he's doing a shit job. And that's where you win elections, my friend, is with the independents, and he's murdering himself. So you guys can continue to live in your ridiculous reality of bullshit and guessing what AOC and all these other people are all about, or do yourself a goddamn favor, use Google.
Thank you. Do your fucking Google.
Oh my God, it's all right there for you.
Jesus. Hey, I totally agree. Like, do your Googles, take 2 seconds to do your own research, and stop just believing what these analysts and all these news anchors say. And, you know, because let's face it, a lot of this stuff is clickbait just to get you all hype. And then you actually read into some shit and you're like, oh, it's really not what I thought it was. Or if you look at an AOC interview or something like that, her full interview, not saying that I agree with everything, but hey, I don't know. I think there's a video of Ben Shapiro out that I think sums up exactly what I feel like he is indoors. It's I don't know. He's dancing and having a good time, but yeah, this is what I think of when I listen to
people
Ben.
can describe me however they please. It's a free country, and I'm all in favor of a public debate.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores.
Look how beautiful he looks.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pullout game weak.
I'm sorry, when I saw this video,
I'm so glad somebody did this.
Yeah, you effing some wet ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word.
When I saw this shit, I could not help but die out loud.
Beat it up, N-word. Catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard.
And I feel like this is probably how he talks during sex,
Swipe your nose
like to his wife with the dry ass P word.
Well, I found it really funny. I guess there, you know, I don't know. I don't know that song. WAP. I didn't know about it. My kids explained it. They played me the video. I know what it is. I get it. I've done it. But I found it interesting that Ben Shapiro didn't understand that a woman's vagina gets moist before sex. It's almost like he must not make that wife.
He might not be WAP. You know, it's
That's
funny.
it.
Man, Shapiro, I think you should stop worrying about Black Lives Matter and worry about your wife's vagina mattering. Yeah,
he seems to worry about a lot of weird shit that has nothing to do with him. He's so concerned about your dick and where you put it and who you're putting it in and when you're. I mean, he is just like, we got to stop that stuff. Oh my God.
Maybe dude, if he got some, I need to send him some WAP. I need to find like a pro.
I'll bet you if he started getting some, he would be so much less concerned where other people are putting their parts. That's it.
Exactly. Hey, I'll pray for that guy. And I think I'm also going to pray for the rest of the Republican Party, because even with the, have you watched a little bit of the RNC?
So I didn't watch much of the DNC. I did catch some highlights on Twitter. Thus far, I have not. I'm obviously following along, and I understand there's this new controversy where like Mike Pompeo was going to speak from Israel, like in his official capacity. Trump was going to literally accept the nomination from the White House, which are all illegal things to do.
Yep.
Because it's a fucking election. I mean, again, the disregard that these people are showing, and all these like fucking asshole, like, the Constitution, and then Trump's shitting all over, and they're like, well, you know, the Democrats want to rewrite it, so we have more rights. God forbid that shit, you idiots.
My God. Change.
Idiots.
God forbid fucking change.
Well,
everything changes, but
right. One more point about my stupid mom, who I love to death. Again, don't get me wrong here. I love my mom, but she's got it twisted because she spends too much time on Facebook, right? I said to her, I go, you're old, right? You're not in great shape. You got pre-existing conditions. My mother couldn't get insurance before Obamacare, and she hates Obama because he's a Muslim, you know.
Wow.
She thinks that. Rob, I talked to her for 2 hours. We talked about it, and by the time we finished, I thought I had convinced her. And then like a half an hour later, she's like, I don't know, Joey, I just can't shake it. He seems like a Muslim. I don't know what a Muslim seems like.
Muslim?
I don't even know what that means.
And that's so
I don't know what that means.
A lot of Muslim people that I know, they're the nicest people. They'll give you the shirt off their fucking back.
Yeah.
So I feel like you know what you should do, Joe? You should we should get find like a Muslim group and like see if they want to be part of like kind of a, what is it called? Not a circle, but a intervention, and like just bring a bunch.
Oh my God. Yes.
And maybe that's what I need to get, like a group of like bunch of like street dudes, and then like just bring them to like an old conservative neighborhood. Look, and knock on doors and be like, hey.
You said this right off the top. Okay, and we've talked about this before, Rob, what white fear is. And I really do think, and I think you might agree with me, I know you've done a lot of research on what the right-wing media is presenting to people, and it certainly does come across in a lot of the writings for conservative and right-wing media that black people are, even though it's a tiny portion of the population, that they are coming for you in the suburbs, says Mr. Trump. And the implication there is that they're not coming for like a barbecue, right? Like it's bad news if we let the blacks into the suburbs, we're screwed. That's what he's saying. That's the message he's saying. And again, my point is, look, you could be a Republican and you could be a conservative, and if you are, you should be a better person. You should really be a better human being than everybody else. But you're not. So ask yourself why that is, right? Well, you can look at the way this guy behaves. My brother's a conservative. My brother thinks Trump's an asshole. My brother's always been big into presidents and the respect factor. And the presidents, my brother didn't like Obama, but my brother respected the guy because that was the president of the United States.
Exactly.
He really has an issue with Trump not being able to maintain the traditional protocol of what a president should be. And anybody who calls himself a Republican who is okay with this shit show going on a daily basis, shame on you, and you're a fucking liar. You most certainly, and I said this to my brother today, can you imagine if this black guy would have came into the Oval Office, shit talking, put my opponent in prison. I mean, can you imagine if Obama would have said or done any of the things that Trump has done? Dude, we'd be on our third civil war because the second one would have just ended and we'd be still trying to work shit out. That's where we'd be.
And I don't want to seem like I'm always bashing Trump because unfortunately, Sleepy Joe, like I'm bored of talking about Sleepy Joe, and like, yes, we know he sniffs fucking hair, but outside of that, like nobody else can bring up shit for the past 12 years now. We've known about Biden's past. So let that shit fucking go. Other than that, you can't bring up anything. Nobody brings about the good stuff that he's actually did when he was a VP. Granted, he was hanging on Obama's coattail, but it's just like, pick a different battle. And if you're still supporting somebody that is a bigot and has no kind of integrity, no kind of just human remorse or past, like I'm sorry, like and it hurts me because like one of my best friends and like I have a lot of conservative views. And like one of my best friends is conservative. And like, I don't want him to feel like he has to change his views, but even real Republicans, I shouldn't say real Republicans, but former Republicans, older Republicans that I meet, they're like, yeah, Trump has a lot of good values as far as the economy, but he's an asshole. And that's not the person that I would want to, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, when does it stop? When is that bar? When does that peridium just, you know what I'm saying, just fall over and like we just let it go, like let go of the bullshit and really get some people. And even then, like I'm not saying that Biden and Harris are the ones, but they're the ones towards a better fucking change. So guess what? Take your party, go home, revamp that shit, and come back in 4 years and let's see this shit. Let's see this shit put into action the right way.
Do you remember when Donald Trump said to black people as a whole, vote for me, what do you have to lose? Which to me was, dude, I'm just going to say, to me, that was all the confirmation I needed to him. Black lives do not matter. What do you have to lose? You ain't got shit anyway. That's what he was basically saying. It's the worst that could happen, that I won't keep you in the ghetto. And again, that seems to be this guy's mindset too, by the way. The way he talks, it's clear he thinks that every black person, other than maybe Herman Cain,
Herschel Walker,
lives in the ghetto. Otherwise, you live in the ghetto. Whatever exactly he thinks that is. That's the way he acts, and that's the way that he talks.
And his bullshit, you know, to a kind of caveat onto that, he's still trying to redline. And I was supposed to bring this up a couple episodes again, but because I don't have my notes pulled up, I'm just going to kind of hit on it. But when you sit there and say, we're going to keep pretty much the suburbs and not let anybody else in, you're fucking redlining, dude. Come on. Like, what do I have to lose at this point if I vote for if he gets back reelected, I'm watching my life. I have to protect my life. At least if Biden or Harris gets into office, I just have to live like a fucking normal human being. Don't sell drugs. Don't go do some illegal shit because, yes, they're going to try and throw you in the jail for fucking 100 years. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I balance it at. Do I take some politicians that I don't necessarily agree with and do the right shit and just be a human being? Or do I be a human being and have to worry about when the fucking cop pulls me over and worry about if the legislation or the people behind me don't give a fuck? I don't want to be in a fucking t-shirt. If I get killed by the cops, don't put me on a fucking t-shirt. Set this shit on fucking fire at this point. When does my life, and that's what I mean to all my friends that watch this and that aren't white, I mean that aren't black, that are white or Mexican or Hispanic or whatever the case may be. When do your friends like me matter? You know what I'm saying? Like when does that kind of take into place? Because I know even if I had people like, I'll be the first one to sit there and say, I think a lot of things that Minister Louis Farrakhan has to say are dope. But to disregard white people just because they're fucking white, I don't agree with that shit. So no, I don't fuck with you. You drop a lot of fucking gems. I can take what I want to, but I don't fuck with you. And that's what a lot of people have to understand. Just because you're Republican, you don't have to be loyal to this idiot. You don't have to be loyal to him just because he has a title. There's a lot of people that have titles that title shouldn't have meant shit because they don't hold up to that fucking title. So where does your loyalty really lie? Does your loyalty lie as a Democrat or a Republican? Does your loyalty lie to just that title, to that, and whatever they say goes? Where do you cross the line? I know for me, with Democrats, I cross the line where you're talking about really kind of going into my rights, such as Second Amendment rights. That's why I fucking cross the line. So when I have to kind of weigh out those pros and cons, I'm sorry. When it comes to the ones that I love, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, fucking green, whatever the case may be, you matter more than any of my other fucking views. And that's all I'm trying to get people to understand nowadays. Just like now, right? We're never mind. I'll save that. That's too deep.
Good. So I don't want to get too deep either, but I do have a question that I like to pose to you because I sort of feel a way about this. Do you think that this election coming up in November is a referendum on Black Lives Matter? And I don't mean the organization, I literally mean if Donald Trump wins this election, okay? I just watched a couple Dave Chappelle specials. I don't know, the whites never surprise him. If Donald Trump wins re-election, do you feel like this is the United States saying to black people, hey, we just don't give a shit. You can stay here, but we don't care that much. Would you take it as that if this country came out and overwhelmingly decided that all lives matter, blue lives matter, that side wins, and this side loses? How would you take that?
Honestly?
Or am I overblowing this shit? Maybe I am.
I don't think you're overblowing it, but one, I will have to agree that yes, it kind of, but I'm not going to say it's the whole country. I will sit there and say it's the black people or those that, we're going to group everybody as a whole, first and foremost. Yes, that means America does not care about black people, in my take, because you're allowing the same people that don't care about changing into office. So it's insanity, right? Doing the same thing over, expecting a different result. That's what that is, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But then again, so I caveat that now, and I'm going to piss a lot of people off because I hold myself and I hold my people accountable because that's what I can do. If the numbers start swaying, I blame black people for letting a quick moment in time and media draw their attention away from the past 3.5 years of struggle and torment that they've been complaining about. And I see that now. It's so easily to be distracted and, oh, Kamala this, Joe Biden that. Oh, what have they really done for black people? Well, what has fucking Trump really done for black people? Let's not get it twisted. Trump talks about, oh, I've boosted the economy for black people. Da, 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 da. Well, what is giving people money when all you're going to do when what good is feeding people money or a culture money when they're not educated on how to value that money appropriately? Yes, you're going to feed us the money because guess what? Just as quick as we get it as a fucking culture, it's going to be out our fucking hands. So realistically, start thinking about that. Stop fucking reading headlines, Black America, and really think about what we're doing. We're already separating ourselves just within a matter of what? It's been a month since Harris has been maybe month and a half since she's been introduced as the VP. Not even. We're 2 weeks removed from the DNC. So if we're already separated that way, I blame America as a whole, and then I also blame Black America for once again letting other people than us separate ourselves.
I was watching Bill Maher, his piece of his show the other day, and he brought up something that I've been talking about. You've been on Divided We Stand, another Clovercrest Media podcast, and we've run into this situation where we've got a bunch of different voices on that show, Rob, and the idea was to try to understand perspective, and it just seemed like week in and week out it devolved into you're racist, this is, you know what I mean? It seemed like it every single week, and I just I don't understand how anybody could be looking at this and being on the side of like not equal rights. How anybody could be on the side of, well, I mean, come on, all lives. I mean, like, what kind of a moron are you at this point where you can't look at this situation? And I asked my mom this. I said, Mom, because she was like, Trump's done more for black people than anybody in history. And I was like, Mom, have you asked a black person, not Diamond or Silk, if that's true? If there's a black person out there or a black organization out there that's like, this guy's been great and we're going to endorse him for all the amazing work he's done with the black community. Has he done a couple of things? Yeah, sure. I've seen a list of things that he did. I don't know how much of those are true or how much of that list I saw was biased. But it's not like, look, it's not like the president's actively gone and well, though he has. We know he's eliminated, again, that was his big brag move, was that he eliminated the funding of public housing in the suburbs.
Yep.
Again, I mean, if people don't understand what that means, he thinks, and I'm speculating a little bit based on his tweets and everything he's ever said before. But when he speaks of the ghetto, he's talking about black people. So when he says he's keeping them out of the suburbs, he's talking about the people in the ghetto. He's talking about black people. So when the question comes up, how is he racist? That's how. That's how.
And I'm not even going to just sit there and just say just strictly black people, but people of color.
Yes.
People of color or people of not that same privileged lifestyle that, you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't want to just keep making it a black thing because racism is happening everywhere. Especially when you see inter-racism, because guess what? I don't know if inter-racism is a fucking thing, but if it's not, it is now. And when I say, oh, excuse me, here's a Barney style for everybody. Inter-racism, Rob's definition of racism within each other's race, right? Or within the race, but different cultures. So I say that, right? You take a Jamaican, they're black, right? But never call a Jamaican black. And then you take a black person, that Jamaican is going to call that black person, African American, the most laziest person in the world. Because in their eyes, if you're not working 25,000 fucking jobs, you're lazy. You know what I'm saying? And then it has that kind of stereotype of black America just being lazy, sitting on welfare and stuff like that. Once again, here's another example. I go into the bodega. I mistook my guy for Puerto Rican. And I guess for Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, if you call a Puerto Rican Poppy, or if you call a Puerto Rican Poppy, that's not a big thing. I mean, that's a no-no. But yeah, Dominicans, hey, what's up, Poppy? It's a cool thing. So I mistook my guy for Puerto Rican. He's Dominican, and it was a whole uproar for like 5 minutes. I'm not Puerto Rican. I'm da 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 da. I'm like, oh shit, my bad. I apologize. So yeah, that kind of like inter-racism. Even with black people, light skin versus dark skin. Hell, I seen it in a Polish town. Well, little Polish town, Poland town, whatever, in New Britain. An Italian and a Polish guy getting together, and I was like, holy shit. So I guess it's all over the place. Like, when are we just going to start loving each other for who we are and stop worrying about where somebody was born because they didn't get to choose it, what color they were fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
So a couple years ago, I interviewed a black comedian who's pretty well known, and his name is totally escaping me right now. He was on Last Comic Standing, and he came by the radio station. The security guard at the radio station was an old black fella. And this, if anybody can think of who I'm talking about, he's about 6'6", this kid. He wears glasses. He looks like he could be a basketball or a football player, right? And like a rapper, though, right? He's a comedian. He keeps a journal. He's always got it in his hands. You never know when you're going to write something down. And so he comes in, and he wants to come to the radio station. And the security guard looks at this fella, and he says, "What, you a rapper?" And the guy's like, "No, I'm a comedian." And this guy, as I walked over, he looks at this black comedian, he goes, "Yeah, right."
Yeah. Jesus.
And we walked away, and so I said to the guy, I'm like, I gotta ask, because I don't know anything. I said, would you call that racist right there? And he thought about it for a second, and he was like, what? He goes, yeah, actually, yes. He goes, that's racist. He made an assumption based on my color. He just assumed, and I had a notebook, I must be a rapper. And I thought that was really interesting because, inter-racism is real. I mean, we certainly size each other up in this country based on appearance, race, shape, size. Right? You walk up to another dude, Rob, that's scrawny, and your first thought is, I could kick this dude's ass. That's it.
I used to until some scrawny kid left me a lifetime mark, busted my lip through my fucking tooth. So yeah, I used to.
Hey, look at this. Killer line here from our good buddy Tyler Bard. He says, "Focus America. Just because the movement isn't for you, that doesn't mean it's against you."
Thank you. That is like one of the best true statements right there. Just because it's not for you doesn't mean it's against you. A lot of things aren't for me, but I know it's not against me. So guess what? I let the shit go. I don't worry about it, and I move forward, and I see how I can better myself to be a better person within that. So, So yes, we have a good question.
Are we just going to now solve what is racist and what is not racist incidents?
Sure.
Well, Rob, right. I would say in this situation, again, I'm a white dude. What do I know? So I'm going to say it depends on how you're saying that. If your boy walks in and you call him that word, that's a thing. However, have you ever used the N-word against another black person where you were saying it like you were being a racist? Have you ever done that?
Not as, you know what? Yeah, I have. Because one of my running jokes is I don't speak to niggas after 8. Like, point blank period. Like, I don't speak to niggas after 8. Like, don't call my phone, don't whatever. And then also, like, if there's some ignorant shit between my people, like if I'm with my boys. So do I use the N-word? Guilty. But I use it within the confines of my own home, within the people I trust, not around public, not in the open eye. Now, if you catch me at the spades table and it's at my house or at my family member's house, a lot of them are going to fucking fly. But I have used it aggressively towards a black person. It's hard to say that it's racist. It's inter-racist because I meant it that way. Nigga, I'll fuck you up. You're right. But it's never been a hard ER, but hard ERA doesn't matter. But
again, I still think you're almost putting it out there as a term of, I don't want to say affection, because in that context, I'm going to F you up, certainly wouldn't see it. Yeah. But have you ever been straight up been like, you're nothing but a blank.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so then you are a little bit inter-racist.
I am. But that's the thing. I can admit it. Perfect example, right? Montrezl Harrell from, I can't remember team, but he said something, I'll fuck you up, white boy, to Lukas Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks, right? Super racist thing, super racist statement, right? But the first thing, without the next day, the next game or whatever, whenever they could see each other, Harrell decided to make it an effort for himself to publicly apologize. And Doncic even said, yeah, I felt one, it was sincere. We had a heart-to-heart conversation. I knew that it was temperament flaring, not to say that it was right, but I accept his apology. He was open. He openly admitted that he was wrong, and let that be right. I mean, let that be that. You know, so it's just like, was it a racist statement? Yes. Do I believe he's a racist? No. Do I believe a lot of people make ignorant racist statements out here? Do I believe that they're racist at heart? No. But guess what, America? This is the time where you got to start thinking about the shit and start analyzing. Even with myself, like, I used to let the N-word fly all the fucking time. But now, yes, I know that, like, it's not a good, I don't want, one thing, I don't want anybody other than a black person getting comfortable saying that shit around me. Like, once again, and I know my best friend's gonna, like, he's like, dude, why do you keep using me as a reference? But it's the easiest thing that I can refer to because he's white and I'm black. And we have difference of opinions, but we share a lot of the similar things. I would try and get him to off that shit. And he would not. Like, me and him in the confinements of our own place as roommates, like, man, just let that shit off. And he would not, just for the simple fact that he understands what that shit means. You know what I mean? And the history behind it and all that other shit. So it's like, I get it. If you want to be fucking behind, you know, even with like music and shit like that, like, if me and you were sitting there and some music comes off and 50 Cent comes on, I'm not going to get fucking mad, because also with shit comes growth, right? But I understand why other people will get mad, but then it is a double standard.
I am definitely radio edit all day long. Okay? You'll see when some Dre and Snoop comes on how radio edit I am. Dude, and again, I mean, this is just, growing up and knowing that word gets, and I've seen it used, and I saw the reaction it got in my entire life. I just, like, I'm not saying that. I don't think I've ever uttered that word out loud at another person in a derogatory way, shape, or form, ever. And if I've ever said the word, it's only to tell somebody, using in not on my own volition, I should say.
Got you. I'm looking up. I'm looking up this one video, which it's one video where I think I'm okay with it. And kind of give a backstory. Like, so I understand that there's some. It's a very urban word. And I love how we just kind of got onto this. But thank you, Ovi, for bringing this up. And to answer your question, yes, it's a little bit racist. I don't know if I actually directly answered your question, Ovi, but yes, it is racist of me to say that. But I believe that because in some instances, you're a white guy or even a white girl that grew up in the ghetto, like your whole life, and you're around that environment. You're a product of that environment. I think there's some times where I would consider a pass. Like if I meet somebody, so bet. When I first, oh shoot, sorry about that. Sorry, my desk kind of toppled over. But anyways, so there's the white dude named Matt. When I first got into the military, and Matt grew up in the hood, super white boy, like, but he had a black soul. You know what I'm saying? Like he had a super black soul. And I'm like, damn, Mac, I could really just see you just saying the N-word all day and it wouldn't really bother me because you live that life. You're from that, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like when you're cut from a certain cloth, as much as I don't want to give him a pass, but he would be one of the people I would give a pass. Chris, also my best friend, yeah, I would give him a pass too because that brother got soul. I'll tell you that right now. I've never been able to see a big white dude move the way he does. So yeah, it's there. And even then, like, I guess to kind of cut this a little bit as I still try and look for this video because I haven't typed anything in yet. But even then, like, I would like to see the word get phased out.
Yeah, it's probably time. it's definitely one of those words that I think makes everybody uncomfortable. It's one of those words that when someone says it out loud at a volume higher than 5, that the entire room kind of, and then the whole room goes dead silent. We don't need words like that anymore. Let's just cut that bad boy out altogether, I would say. And I think people would, listen, I think at this, all of these words, especially that word, the intent with which you're using that word
very true has
a tremendous impact on how the other person's going to take it. And as you said, if you were hanging out and we were singing along to some rap tunes, you don't care, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I just still wouldn't do it. I would never feel comfortable doing that. Knowing, I mean, again, I majored in history in college. I know the dirty secrets of this country like nobody else's business. I know, like 3 months ago, everybody found out what the Tulsa riots were. Yeah, nobody knew. I mean, I've known about that my entire life, and I guess I didn't know that people didn't know that. I didn't know that white people didn't know what Juneteenth was.
Shit,
I didn't know
people.
that. I didn't know that until like 2 months ago. When people were like, "Have you heard of this shit?" And I'm like, "I went to college and I studied history. Probably the only reason why I know it. I just assumed everybody else did. But apparently that's just not how it works. So what are you gonna do?"
Not at all. Well, I guess to end this out, in this little portion out, there should be a video of, I think, the only white kid that I approve saying this word. Oh my
God.
Let's go.
You're really gonna make me play this?
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Cause I'm gonna keep it G real. I don't fuck with you cause you disrespecting me. You disrespect my hood by telling me take off my flag, asking how gangster I was, nigga. You lucky on that day I was acting cool, cuz. I told you I ain't got time for that, but nigga, I got time, cuz.
It don't matter, pistol gang, bitch.
Look at this guy go off.
But nigga, you came up on me on some fun shit, nigga. I don't make peace with niggas that come up on me on some disrespectful shit when I didn't even know you, nigga.
But there's black people around, so I can't even be mad.
Nigga, what's up? How gangster are you, cuz? How gangster are you, nigga? I'll show you how gangster I am, nigga. You can drop off your kid and run my fade.
You ain't hearing it.
Exactly, nigga. I go hard, cuz. You don't want to fuck with me.
He the only white boy to this day that I'll give the pass because, once again, I don't know if he came from the suburbs and then moved to the hood, but he had niggas behind him. And them niggas was cool with him saying niggas, so by all means, my nigga, keep it going.
Wow, that was crazy.
Anyways, so if you guys haven't realized or haven't been to I'llPissYouOffShortly.com and seen the new merch, there's some dope ass merch that I got up there. And I think it actually pulls very true to what we have going. So if you haven't gotten your Yep, That's Racist merch, or you do the math merch, which I'm very, very happy with that. Equality is greater than division. So go ahead, get your hoodies. Ooh.
God, Rob, I must be the stupidest person who ever lived. I saw that today.
Do the math, Joe. Do the math.
I saw that today, and I was like, oh, do the math. This is clever. And I looked at it, and I was like, am I not getting something here? How am I not understanding this? But now, I do want that. I just haven't decided whether I want the green or the blue yet.
So I definitely ordered myself both. I'm just so mad because they're both in. I should have sent them here, but since I stayed a week longer than I expected, they're just waiting for me. So I can't wait. And I heard it's kind of like fallish up there a little bit now. So like, hey, a little bit. So I can't wait to put a hoodie on.
The blazing heat's definitely gone.
Oh, it's down here. It's definitely came back down here. So I mean, fall, winter, all that stuff is coming. So make sure you guys go to I'll Piss You Off Shortly. We have that in hoodies and t-shirts. I know a couple of people have been asking about the long sleeve shirts. They're coming soon. So definitely check the website out and use code pissed off 15 for 15% off. I think I'm still running that promo code. If it doesn't work, just go ahead and message me and I'll send it to you anyways. Hey, shout out to Shanice for wearing her hoodie. She has the blue and it looks phenomenal. She's the one that made me want to buy the blue or get the blue for myself. Because
I think that blue is gorgeous. And I've definitely decided on Yup, That's Racist as my first purchase. And I say that because it would just help me to answer so many questions. I could just be like,
yep, that's racist.
yeah.
So lovely.
Yeah.
So I guess since I'm down here and I want to kind of, we were talking about religion. When I say down here, down in the South, for anybody that first time listener just hasn't really been down here or been a part of, I'll pitch you off shortly. I'm down in Georgia and I totally forgot that I am in the freaking Bible Belt. So I say that Sunday morning, let me go get some food. You cannot eat, walk anywhere, go anywhere before 11 o'clock, it seems like. Holy shit. I didn't mean to say holy shit, but hey, there we go. Man.
It's obviously influencing you in a big way right now.
So it is just so crazy. I'm like, you guys will shut down south. Like everything shuts down for church. Whether you're white, black, Hispanic, whatever, everything shuts down. And I'm like, it got me to thinking the power in religion, which what is religion? Religion is a belief system that gives somebody the power to believe in something higher, whatever, right? We have such a belief system in something that has never been really proven just through written words and stuff like that. But
that have all been found to be factually incorrect.
Exactly. Factually incorrect information.
Point that out. And also, the only sources are itself.
Exactly. Yeah. Right? So, but when science comes around, like coronavirus, nobody believes that down here. And I'm like, holy crap, the power of religion.
I have seen so many people on Facebook that live here in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. Who have said stupid shit like, I hope to God that Jesus intervenes and saves us from coronavirus. This was from an actual adult, someone who's, I believe, probably in her 50s, is truly hoping that Jesus will come down the chimney and somehow cure the coronavirus, which, I mean, if you're being religious here, you would have to assume that God creates everything, so he would have also created the coronavirus. So I also find it a little presumptuous that somebody would ask God if he's actually intending to wipe out the entire planet with a virus, that he would get rid of said virus. He's got a divine plan. Why would you fuck with it?
Why exactly? Why would you fuck with it? It's supposed to happen. Let the shit happen, right? But then again, and this is probably a very bad joke, but I definitely LMAO when I got this meme and said, "You expect Jesus to come and save you from corona, but he couldn't save himself from the cross." I said, "Geez, that hurt." But that's very true. So what are we really believing in? And where do we actually start believing in ourselves and the things that are proven? For example, I'm in a store getting food in the not the grocery store, the gas station, getting my food with my mask on. This probably I would guess make between 60 and 70 year old white lady, no mask, came on and was super irritated that there was no hand sanitizer by the opening door because she had to touch the door. Lady, you're coming into a crowded gas station with no mask, worrying about the hand sanitizer. And then the first thing that comes out of her mouth, "Oh my God, I'm just going to have to hope and pray." No, You're gonna have to use some fucking common sense. Not hope and fucking pray. You know where hope and prayer got me? Not a lot of fucking places. Hard work, dedication, and hustling some shit got me some fucking places. And fortunately, it got me into a fucking bad habit of saying, oh, dear God, can you please help me that? Because it's just more of a relief thing. So I wish whatever religion you believe in, if you believe in something, like, cool, I get it, but let's start using some logic with this shit. Not the logic of somebody that wrote some stories and put the shit together in a collection of books and made you believe that, giving your 10% is gonna, make God happy and, serve its purpose. Take that 10%, put it in the stock market, and watch a bigger return than your fucking pastor's Mercedes-Benz in the driveway.
Well, you know how Christians are so concerned that there's a war against them or they're under attack or some nonsense. Rob, what year is it?
I believe it's 2020.
I mean, but what year is it really?
Shit.
Yeah, right? You see what I'm getting at? Christianity is so prevalent in this world and has such a position of power in this world that we literally keep track of the fucking year it is based on when a person who, as far as science is concerned, didn't really exist. That's how we're counting our years. There is something fundamentally wrong with that. There's something fundamentally wrong with anybody who's teaching their children, or any children for that matter, the bullshit of creationism. You run into a situation where I don't like lying to kids. I decided early on in my life that when my kids were like, is the Santa Claus real? And if your kids are up, you're an asshole, and I'm going to ruin it for them. My kids are like, Santa Claus real? Fuck no, it's me.
Fuck no.
Tooth Fairy, you know it, motherfucker.
Hello.
There are no magical fairies anywhere flying around just hand delivering shit. There just isn't. No. And I think it's so dishonest for religions to tell people these things. Even if God existed, which we can't prove one way or the other, here's what we do know. We don't know shit about what he thinks about anything. We couldn't possibly know that, and no one can claim that they do. They're a liar. So if there's a God and there's some eternal reward, I hope you all enjoy it. I'm making the most of my time on this planet. I was a Roman Catholic altar boy. Nobody touched me bad or anything. I love how you make that a point. Whenever I say altar boy, people are like, "Oh, did you go to a camp or something?" You know what I mean? Like, no. I was so into being a Catholic, and I still get pissed when I hear people make fun of it, because I always want to defend it a little bit, but I know it's horse shit. And look, they did a great job, and they've made a lot of money off of that stuff, and now all they want to do is they want to influence politics. And the answer has got to be a big fat no, or you take away those tax exemptions, and they can play ball like everybody else. But I think in the year 2020 of our Lord, I think it's time that we all start fucking bullshitting each other and pretend like this. Look, here's the other funny thing, and I think people forget this. If you actually read the Bible, and I have, if you actually read the Bible, Jesus was talking about the world ending imminently. Imminently. He didn't mean like 2020 years later. He meant like next summer shit was going down. Okay? He's like no better than any other wackadoo who's predicted the end of the world and been wrong by thousands of fucking years. Exactly. Get the fuck over yourself, everybody. Stop believing in horse shit. Respect one another, right? Be a fucking humanist if you want to believe in something. Believe in each other. That's where it's all at, man. That's what your reward is on this earth. Rob, is there anything better in this world than doing a kind gesture to someone else and seeing the look of appreciation and amazement on their face? Is there no better feeling than to surprise a fellow human being with your fucking compassion I mean, that is its own reward. If you need 72 virgins or to kiss Jesus' ass for the next millennia, there's something wrong with you. And you're missing the whole point of what we're doing on this planet.
So, perfect example, right? Here I am at Dunkin' Donuts. You know, I walk up the street, get my Dunkin' Donuts. There's a lady in front of me. She's a little bit older, maybe about 50, 60, something like that, right? Black lady. And I felt like a dirtbag. Let's be completely honest. Super dirtbag, I felt like an indecent human being. Why? Because this lady, she has a $5 bill. She's getting her coffee. Her coffee's like $1 something. I don't know why she took the $5 bill, but she put it away and she started digging for change. So in my head, I'm just, she's in front of me. She pays for it out of the change and then goes about her way. So in my head, I'm like, I'm an asshole. Why didn't I just say, you know what? I got it. Put it on my tab. I'll cover it. Instead of literally, you know what I mean? I don't know why she had that $5 in her hands. I remember from my grandmother, like she would hold on to big bills because it was already allocated to something else. So, and the reason why I'm telling this story is just being a simple, decent human being. I felt like a dirtbag because what's $1 or something, you know what I mean, to me, instead of watching her literally struggle to pull out some change. And then we talk about money, right? The first thing that says, "In God we trust," right? So if that doesn't give you like an already
so manipulative, isn't it?
So, so I'm like, and you talk about doing good things. So I made it my effort when I went to go get lunch to pay for the person behind me just because I felt like I owed it to somebody. But that was the best feeling in the world, just to pay it forward. I've always learned that from that movie, fucking pay it forward. And even my grandmother used to tell me all the time, like, it takes no effort to be a kind person. You don't have to save the fucking world, but just the effect of one kind motion or action towards one person will spread like fucking wildfire. And when we stop believing in both of these things, the fucking dollar and the fucking that God we trust shit, God wasn't that shouldn't be printed on that. We're believing in that in God we trust is holding value to that.
Can I tell you, this is important to note too, that "In God We Trust" was only added to the Pledge of Allegiance and to the money during the 1950s, during the Red Scare, when Joseph McCarthy was accusing everybody of being an atheist communist. And everybody wanted to prove that they loved America and God. And they were like, put that shit on the money, put it in the pledge, let's go ape shit here. And that's where this all started. That's where this whole big push. And then with that, obviously the emergence of the evangelical right.
And I find it so funny how we as a people are just so quick just to believe in this shit, right? So like, for example, Black America, we've been worshiping white Jesus for how long? And then I want to say fairly recently, now Jesus is black because of whatever fucking description or interpretation somebody's fucking the woolly hair and all that other shit. Like, come on, man. We were fed the white Jesus as slaves. Then, by doing that, and let's really be real, right? Let's really dig deep into the shit. The reason why the white man taught the black man religion is so that way they can go ahead and control, right? So we go ahead and teach the black man how to be a pastor and congregate his flock to keep control, right? So now slavery is ended, and all we know is what? Oh, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for saving us. White Jesus fucking saved us. Just because we change the color in our mind and in pictures, that's still some fucking made up shit. So we're not even believing, it's not even a true belief system because all this shit was altered when America came over, when everybody came over here from, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I wish we would just have more faith in humanity instead of sweet baby Jesus. Black people, wake up your fucking eyes.
By the way,
it's not your religion.
if anybody wants to know more about Caesar Borgia, who literally is, that's your white Jesus. Caesar Borgia was the bastard son of a pope, and he was a pretty bad guy too. And he had long hair and a beard, and they were like, that's our Jesus.
That's our Jesus.
Yeah.
Look at that
Your
shit.
Jesus was actually a really dark-skinned Middle Eastern guy. Bummer.
Hey, oh, shit. You know,
That's gotta suck when you find out. Hold on, you're a Christian and you find out that your savior was a Jew from the Middle East.
Mic
like,
drop.
That's gotta suck.
Only I'll piss you off shortly.
Gotta hurt you really bad that happens. That does not add up at all.
Man, oh man.
Also, one last thing. Let me just kick it one more time when they're done.
Of course.
Where is Jesus from?
Let's go Nazareth, right?
Right, Jesus the Nazarene, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews, INRI. You've all seen the Latin inscription. Funny story. Where was Jesus born, though?
It was Jesus. Where was he born?
The lovely little town
of Bethlehem. Yeah.
Right.
See, they got us. They got us. Joe was about to kick the game, and they kicked him off. Oh, man, who reported us? That
was God.
That was
clearly messing with me. All right. That was my finger. It actually just hit the eject button by accident. All right, so Jesus was born in Bethlehem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He's from Nazareth. That's why they call him Jesus the Nazarene. So, the Messiah that there's, and by the way, there is no, there are no prophecies of a Messiah coming. That is, if you've actually read the Bible, you would know that. And anyone who tells you that that's true hasn't read the Bible. And if it's your religious person, you're a con artist. So, according to the Bible, the Savior would have been born in the house of David, the great King David.
Okay.
And he shall be born in Bethlehem. So imagine what a pain in the ass it was when Jesus was born in Nazareth. And they had to make up a story about how he was born in Bethlehem by saying there was a Roman census that year, and Joseph had to go back to his hometown of Bethlehem, which would have been a great story if there had been a fucking census.
You know?
There wouldn't be a census in Jerusalem for like another 150 years until Tiberius was the emperor. So your whole bullshit story is all fake. I mean, literally right down to the guy wasn't even from where he's supposed to be from, you people. Come on. Stop being deceived by this. It's tradition, and in this country, boy, we just have a hard time letting go.
Letting go, exactly.
It's a fake, made-up story. This is the best. The Israeli Antiquities Department went up Mount Sinai. You know what they're looking for? The Ten Commandments and Moses and proof that the Exodus existed, that the Jews fled from Egypt as slaves. You know, people are always talking about the Jews being slaves. There's no actual historical record that they were ever kept. They lived in Egypt. Mm-hmm. True. There's no proof that they were enslaved in Egypt. And that they had nothing to do with the pyramids being built. I know that people like to talk about that. Like, well, there was black slavery in the Jews. There's no proof so that's not true either. The Great Flood is a fake story. I mean, you can go pound for pound through the Hebrew Bible, the Torah. You will find nothing but fake stories, all leading into a whole bunch of other fake stories. None of this stuff has been proven. So, I mean, and you can imagine Israel. They'd love to find Moses. Mm-hmm. They spent years searching around Mount Sinai, and they found not only no evidence, they found what would actually be suggestive evidence to the complete contrary, that a crowd of, roughly the size of Moses' group was about 30,000 people. You know what a 30,000 person encampment would look like? It would be easy to find even thousands of years later, and they found nothing. And do you know why?
Didn't exist.
Because none of it exists. It's all fucking bullshit. It's a big book of stories. There's no God. There's no Savior. You're on your own here. Treat each other with respect, man. That's where this is all at. We've just created this whole, like, this is the other thing, the way the human mind works. I'm going off on a tangent here. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
The human
this
brain.
is the best.
Do you know by age 2, we have developed the God complex? That is where imaginary friends come from. That we're at the age of 2, we are able to imagine their being with no body, but with a personality. We can do that at the age of 2 years old. How easy is it for your priest to then convince you that that person watching you will also you'll send you to hell if you ever have sex with another man?
So is the hot take God is an imaginary friend? Is that the hot take? Yes! Yes, only here.
Yes. So if you hear God, talking to you, you're not wrong. It's you, though.
It's you.
On the other side, yelling to yourself, you might have split personality.
I'll tell you this. I'll share one story. I went one summer. I had the luxury of going to some Christian overnight stay over camp. I think it was like a week or two, right? And by the way, this was probably where I got my experience into finger banging and feeling what a nipple looks like, or seeing what a nipple feels like, right? So, remind you, these weren't holy women or girls at the time. Yeah, like I probably was raped. If I look back and can remember, I probably was raped. But anyways, nonetheless, so you would have like the little worship praise thing after dinner and shit like that. So like the first couple of days, super bored. But from what I remember, I don't know what happened, but that little fucking excitement and what they call the Holy Spirit, I don't know if I caught that shit, but I found myself fucking, I don't know, running around dancing. And then I was like, what the fuck was this? Needless to say, as I think about it, like as I grew up as a child, as I grew up, me and my cousin were like, we were just having a good ass fucking time. That was literally nothing other than that. Never caught the Holy Spirit before, after that ever again. It was just a dope ass fucking party. So now I look at it. I don't know how many black churches you've been into, Joe, but
only one. And I enjoyed the hell out of it, I'll tell you.
Exactly. It's the service. I'm sorry. If it wasn't for the singing and the extraness, church wouldn't be that hype. Like
full on participation.
Exactly.
I it's better than sitting there quietly for 45 minutes.
But I would rather do that.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
It makes every moment excruciating.
I could not wait to go to church in Micanopy, Florida with my grandmother at the small Catholic church because it beat spending a half a Sunday fucking singing 50 songs, listening to the pastors preach for 2 hours and watch them pass a collection plate fucking 30 times and watch my aunt put money into it every fucking time. Meanwhile, every week talking about, oh, we got to cut back. Well, what if we stop giving to the fucking fake man and start? So it's, the biggest scam in the world. Once again, I say it all the time. Black people, like, stop putting your money into the church. You can get that shit on fucking YouTube now. Watch TD Jakes and all these other scam artists and put the money in the market and watch it, flip it, double, triple over, whatever y'all say at church. I don't remember that shit. But yeah, run it, shaketh over, and let it all flood over into the market.
Any religion where they're taking old ladies' money away from them is a bad religion. I mean, give me a break at this point. If you're still like deeply religious and it's not just because your grandmother died and she was religious and you just can't let it go, like you're deceiving yourself and you're setting yourself up to be taken advantage of by people who are happy to do it. Look at Jerry Falwell Jr.
Go ahead.
These people are the fucking worst. They're just the worst. They just want to take your money and they'll tell you whatever you want, whatever comforts you at night, and then they'll scare the shit out of you to make sure you turn it all over to them. Stop falling for that bullshit. And if there was a God, you'd have heard from him already. By now, you'd have heard from him. Trust me.
So, like, it's super sickening. The biggest scam in the world, and you guys keep falling for it, but To each their own. And you know what's crazy? Everybody, back to the story of your mom, right? She wouldn't realize it, but Muslims, it's not about taking. They're the most giving people in the world. Like, no, we're going to help each other instead of take from you and then, oh, we'll pray for you when you're in the hospital and hope that everything's okay. Well, sorry, Reverend. I don't need your prayer for me while I'm in a hospital and I'm looking at your fucking gold Rolex, your 3 gold fucking rings and your gold bracelet and your fucking gold cross to make me feel comforted and get that bullshit fucking holy water from off my fucking face just because you said some fucking words over it and then decided to sprinkle it everywhere. It didn't do anything for my oh my God. I'm sorry.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers,
Thoughts
everybody.
and prayers.
As my aunt would say, may go with God and stay with God on that note. I guess I'm trying to decide whether or not I really want to get into this one topic because I see we're at the hour 30 mark and I don't want to extend this out to 2 hours. I think I'm going to save it because it's the power in black.
I'm sorry we're going to cut that. I think that's a really it's a great topic, and it's one that I promise I won't even say anything during.
Like, okay. But that's the thing. I really, all right, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Power in black. And the reason why I say this is with everything going on, especially and kind of correlating this to the church and money and all this, I witnessed, was it last week that I showed the video of all the black people just in the Lenox Mall,
yes,
and Gucci and all that.
Yep.
All right, so I was thinking about the black dollar, right? When we have such an effect on culture, on the culture and how it's raised, we've been so hype on the fascination of luxury that we're really the only ones thriving the luxury, the high-end luxury game, right? I think I even mentioned it, but I saw it again the other day. So bunch of at the mall. Well, no, at another mall, because there's 2 high-end malls. If anybody's not familiar with Atlanta, I'm just learning myself, but there's 2 high-end malls literally right across from each other. The other one's very, very expensive. So there's a white guy in there in the middle of the line with probably 20 other black people standing in front of Louis Vuitton. If you could probably guess, what outfit do you think he had on? Middle-aged white guy.
Khakis and a button down?
This guy had on what looked to be a nice, like, like I'll say Under Armour polo on.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't Under Armour, but it was, that kind of moisture wickening polo.
It was a less expensive version of Under Armour. Smart.
Yeah, very less expensive. Some khaki shorts and some beat up New Balances. And I just sat there for a minute, right? And I'm hearing all the black people saying, damn, they need to hurry up. They need to hurry up. I ain't got time. I don't have time, right? And I'm looking at this white guy, and he's just on his phone, just relaxing, just chilling. Like 20 minutes later, somebody will go in, somebody will come out, and he's just da-da-da-da-da. And here's my black people. Man, they need to hurry up. Da-da-da. I got stuff to do. So after a while, I went around. I saw him coming out. I was intrigued to ask him, hey, what do you do for a living? Yeah. He was like, I work for myself. I'm a business owner. And I was like, okay. He goes, yep, I do that. I play the market, and I've been working for myself for the past 20 years. Yeah. 55 years old. I was like, holy, yo. So I was like, that's crazy. Here he is. He's earned his time. He's developed an actual income to support his habit. And it's not even his habit. He said, yeah, I decided to play a certain move a year and a half ago. And now I'm buying this. Now I'm buying this purse for my wife. And literally, it was all profit off of a dividend that he had paid a stock in. So that's the mentality of our buying power versus his. His money's making himself money to be able to afford that luxury. Meanwhile, we're trading our time every day effortlessly, just giving up our time for a couple dollars, couple cents on the dollar or on the hour, I should say, just to go ahead and put it right back into an economy. Well, to a company that's private, that's not even publicly traded or has any kind of, affiliation with America, and definitely not putting it back into the community. Whereas, guess what? This guy, he even broke it down to me. He bought his shit. He bought his shirt at Target. He bought his shoes from somewhere else and his shorts from Target. Guess what? He owns stock in all those companies. But we're so pressed going for an image. And he was like, yeah, I get my wife a new purse maybe every 3 or 4 years. She has 1 or 2 bags and that's it. All this extra shit is just for, he goes, yeah, she has a couple shirts, but that's if we go somewhere. Other than that, what do we need to spend money for? And I said, holy shit. You start thinking about it. I don't know about you, but how many girls have you seen in a luxury purse or Louis Vuitton purse or Gucci purse? And you're like, oh yeah, that purse makes me just want to have her body.
Yeah, never.
Was it the purse that did it? Was it the heels that did it?
Never done it once.
And then I think about all the money I've blown on dumbass shit, because let's have a disclaimer. I'm not too far removed from this mindset. None of that shit has ever got me the play that I've had in my 33 years of living. So I just want, I know I came very aggressive last week, and I came in very aggressive, kind of on the subject this week, but I want it to be more of a learning experience, because even now, right, I'm learning things, and I'm still a student. I'm going to be forever a student into this, financial stability game. But it's just like when you try and pass it on, they're like, yeah, no, I don't want to hear it. I still want to get this. I still want to get this shit. So it's just like, damn, what is it going to take for us to change our mentality and figure out that we're playing the wrong fucking game, and we're still playing the wrong game?
Yeah.
Like, none of that brand shit matters. All that shit, once again, has been made up into our society. Everybody's like, oh, well, look at rap. Well, yeah, if you look at rap didn't start off as mainstream. Everybody, all the music industries and everything hated rap music because it was talking about the struggle and the hood and everything else. Nobody wanted to hear that shit. But guess what? Once the money man came around, the white man came around and said, we can make money off of this shit and give them a sense of a lifestyle that they will never be able to afford. Because guess what? They don't want to, these people up top, they don't buy that shit. Somebody gives it to them or whatever the case may be. So now guess what? We're going to put millions and millions of dollars into a lifestyle, promote this kind of lifestyle. And this is how we're going to keep, keep you guys go boosting our own economy and putting money in our own pockets. So it's just like, we have to change ourselves, and hopefully I get better at explaining and learning myself. So then that way I can prepare other people in generations, and, or I guess I get like, I don't know if it's generations or generations after me, to, get better. Even my friends now that are a little bit younger than me, but like, I want to see them do better. I want to see me do better. I want to see Black people do better as a whole. If we can start putting our money, our dollar towards ourselves, and making it come back to ourselves, and learning how, learning this game of life.
Yeah.
This real life Monopoly game. We'll definitely be in a better position, but we have to want it for ourselves, be ready to change our mindset 2, and then 3, be ready to unify, which is the toughest thing to do in the Black community. And I don't think I'll ever have a full explanation for that. So I don't know. It's tough, and it's hard. It's hard to actually change or make growth when you have a country that doesn't really want to see you grow. So
no, you got too many people holding on to the bullshit past. The people are set in their ways and they don't want to change. Again, when a white person talks about the good old days, what exactly time frame are they referring to?
They think it's a long time frame, but it's actually a pretty short one.
Whatever the good old days are, there's a good chance that whatever they're referring to are also referring to some of the worst. Absolute worst conditions that some other people have lived through. So, you know, I think as Americans, I think we need to get ourselves on that page. That we're Americans. Before you're a liberal or a conservative, you're an American. We're stuck here together. We have to share this country together. No one's trying to take it away from you. We're all here together. We all have an equal crack at it. We got to work this thing out, and we have to figure out a way to move forward as a country. I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe like, is there ever a scenario where we just really don't worry about race? Like, is there ever a chance where we can just be like, color really doesn't fucking matter? And maybe, I don't know, maybe it might happen, but I don't like it would have to change mindsets. And even as much as I want to sit there and say, yeah, the older mindsets are leaving, but that's still breeding new mindsets and just the ever long door or revolving door.
I think that as long as there are assholes in the world, race, religion, sex, orientation, those things will all matter, because for whatever reason, and I this is something I'll also never, it's just like all the Karens going up to people, shit talking them. I think to myself, where do you have the time to worry about what everybody else is doing, and why do you have such an issue with it? Who gives a shit? Again, you're not on this earth for very long. I mean, why waste your time on hate or worrying about what other people are doing? Just go out there and spread some love. That's all you got to do.
Exactly. I totally agree. And actually, with you saying that, and I just reminded myself, that's the perfect reason. We forgot about Yep, That's Racist. We talked about the hoodies, but our Yep, That's Racist segment is a perfect example of minding your own fucking business and stop putting your nose where it doesn't fucking belong. Fucking Clay Davis and his interpretation of how he feels LeBron is killing the NBA. Before we close out, let's hit that. Yep, that's racist.
So let me just say this, okay? LeBron's legacy is going to be that he destroyed the NBA in the United States of America. The ratings for the NBA are collapsing in LeBron James's NBA. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird did everything they could to build up the NBA into a national force. Michael Jordan then took the NBA to heights you have never seen before. Since Michael Jordan retired, the NBA has been on a consistent downslope, and LeBron James is destroying it even further because the young players have taken his lead and decided to be woke with all these vapid, not in any way supported by factual data, woke comments. And this is an unmitigated disaster for the NBA, whose ratings are collapsing in the playoffs, whose players have gone woke, and they are alienating a huge percentage of the audience that loved Magic and Larry and loved Michael Jordan. There is a reason why so far the Michael Jordan documentary has had twice as many viewers as any NBA playoff game so far. Let me repeat that. The Michael Jordan documentary about the 1990s era Bulls has more viewers, twice as many, as any NBA playoff game so far. That is a wild and unbelievable stat. More people would rather watch old videos of Michael Jordan playing basketball in the 1990s than would rather watch current NBA playoff games. Now, as the playoffs move forward, more people will probably eventually end up watching the NBA playoffs over the Jordan documentary, but I want you to think about that for a minute. Twice as many people watched an average Michael Jordan documentary as are watching the NBA playoffs so far this season. That is flat out unbelievable. All right?
So, first and foremost, Clay, you fucking idiot. Nobody ever watches the beginning of the fucking playoffs. And before I even say that, right, he sounds dumb as shit talking about, he sounds like these idiots that are like, well, why can't you be like Malcolm X? Why can't you be like Martin Luther King? Why can't you? LeBron James has been the savior for the fucking NBA. He has been the NBA's liaison, voice, and savior. Because if it wasn't for LeBron actually uniting these players and getting these all players on one accord, you would have no NBA. Because let's face it, without these black players, you don't have anybody other than Lukas Doncic. And Lukas Doncic, he's one of those dudes where if he said the word nigga, I probably wouldn't be mad because he balls like a fucking nigga from fucking Brooklyn, New York, or from anywhere in New York, or anywhere where they fucking hoop. So who are you, Clay Travis? Oh, that's right. You're a sports, a barely known sports analyst from Fox Sports. So I already know where your mindset's at. I'm not even a big LeBron James fan, but what he has done for the culture, for black people, for the NBA, he really must not watch any NBA, period. And to kind of correlate it to the MJ doc, well, asshole, as a sports analysis, you should probably know that this was the first this was the first, what the fuck are they called?
Documentary.
Thank you. First documentary of Michael Jackson, okayed by Michael Jackson, approved by Michael Jackson, that actually had value and oh shit, I'm losing my train of thought with this dude. He has me so fucking hot. That actually has value and substance of what it was like to be a bull between that time. One of the greatest sports teams ever in that era. So, like, period. So, miss me with that bullshit and miss me with that racist mentality of he's killing something for somebody. Who are you to even speak on that? Being a white man.
If you're not watching the NBA playoffs because the players are woke, you're a fucking racist. End of story. End of story. End of story. You don't want to watch the black guys play basketball because they have thoughts that you don't like because you're a fucking racist.
But can't.
Done. Thank you, Clay Travis, for fucking proving the point of this whole fucking show tonight.
Exactly.
Dick.
Thanks, Dick. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead into what my favorite ending part. And this is what I recommend when I'm listening to my in rotation pick this week, Sue Me by Wale. And in this song, he's unapologetically black as fuck, proudful, and gives so much credit and kudos to not only black men, but prominent black women in the industry, in the music industry, scientists, mathematicians, Lena Wraith, who's an amazing director, producer. So, like, if you feel like, even if you're white and you just want to feel some empowerment, go ahead and listen to Sue Me by Wale off of Wow That's Crazy, his album. And I promise you, it's the first album on the track. You'll just be like, all right, yeah, I'm black and I'm pro-black, even if you're white. Make sure you guys go listen to that. You won't be sorry. Other than that, I literally had a bunch of final words for everybody. But at this point, it's like, if you have an issue with if you don't have an issue, I should say, let me correct that. If you do not have an issue with what is going on in America, with police brutality, with the murdering of African American citizens, I need you to do me a favor, a really big favor, and go fuck yourself. All right? Go fuck yourself with a 12-inch big black dildo, because they say once you go black, you never go back. And maybe at that point, you'll have a change of mind and realize that fuck my color of my skin. I'm a human being first. So if it wouldn't be okay for your family member to go through it, why should it be okay for me or anybody else to go through it? So if you're racist, suck my dick, kiss my ass, go fuck yourself. I'm Rob Benjamin Dunlap. Be nice, be kind. That's Joe Guire. This is I'll Piss You Off Shortly. Have a good night.
One day. I'm going to get it right one day. Hey, remember how many times you used to do the messages for your voicemail? It goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly. Hey, mama.